Good evening, viewers, those who are watching us from the diaspora and from within Uganda. We are glad you have made NTV your #1 station. And we are also happy that you have made NTV People's Parliament your favorite program. It's the only forum in this country that gives wananchi an opportunity to air out issues that affect their everyday life or have a say on government policies that they are not comfortable with. We are in Kampala yet another Saturday to discuss a very important topic, very controversial, I should say, that the legal status of abortion in Uganda and why this should be everyone is concerned. It has been debated before, it has been in the domain of the public whether to legalize or not to legalize abortion. I'm your speaker, Agnes Nanditu. Yes, this is NTV People's Parliament, sitting here in Kampala, discussing yet a very important topic in the country and very controversial among Ugandans, those who are for and those who are against the legal status of abortion in Uganda and why this should be everyone is concerned. Welcome, honorable members, to this very important parliament, discussing a very controversial topic, legalizing abortion in Uganda. But before I kick the ball rolling, may I get to one person from the Human Rights Awareness and Promotion Forum? Honorable, can you give us a preamble on why we should legalize abortion in Uganda? You have the podium.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable members of this Parliament. My name is Honorable Chigundu Charles. I represent the women who suffer and die from complications related to unsafe abortion. I speak to you, honorable members of this Parliament, from the perspective of public health health worker, because I actually watch and see women dying from complications, and some of them suffer severely from complications related to unsafe abortion. Honorable Speaker and members of Parliament, you will note that every day that passes in Uganda, about 800 women, 860 women have reason to resort to unsafe abortions in this country. 860.
Every day?
Every single day in this country.
Okay. And
that's glaringly bad statistics. And actually, every day we lose 5 women, girls, especially young women, die from complications associated with unsafe abortion. And I don't think this should actually be left to continue. It is, of course, some women die, but out of the 860 women that actually get complications, have to resort to unsafe abortions every day, very many women suffer from abortion complications. There are those that do not die, but suffer pain, they bleed, they get infections, and sometimes they actually end up getting later complications that affect the reproductive health systems. And I don't think this needs to be left unchanged. Currently, it is not clear. The law seems to be very restrictive on women accessing safe abortion services. And globally, we know the science and technologies are telling us that actually safely performed abortions can be very, very safe, and we don't necessarily have to lose women and the income, because apart from losing lives, we actually lose a lot of income. The household income that is lost is great for these families where these women come from, but also as a nation, we lose more than 7.5 billion shillings every year from treating complications related to unsafely performed abortions. It is my considered view, ladies, honorable members of Parliament, that actually we need to widen the window of access to women who actually need to access, who should access safe terminations of their
Honorable Member, Article 22, Clause 2 of the Constitution provides that no person shall terminate a pregnancy except as authorized by the law. So if somebody is in danger, maybe has got an unwanted pregnancy, can't they use this provision to have abortion?
Honourable Speaker, thank you for that. But we also know, according to my understanding of that provision of the Constitution, it empowers or it sort of directs Parliament to come up with clear law that should guide who can actually access a safe abortion and who cannot access a safe abortion.
So that's what you're pushing for.
And I think really that's where we need to go. The Constitution it's about almost 20 years old, and Parliament has not done its duty to actually provide circumstances under which lawful terminations of pregnancy can actually be performed. And our women continue to die because we have actually neglected that part of our duty.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that information. I will give you another opportunity to come back. The legal status of abortion in Uganda and why this should be. Everyone is concerned.
I'm called Sanyu Hajorabate, and I work for Lady Mame's Bureau. I'm a victim of rape. I was raped at 14 years, and I gave birth when I was 15. My family wanted to take a safe abortion for me, but unfortunately, because it's illegal in the country, so they couldn't. I ended up being a school dropout, ended up being a young mother. And actually what happened to me in the past still comes back. And going through psychological support because of what happened to me at that very young age. And for me, I think legal safe abortion in Uganda is the way to go, because many women die, many women suffer, and we are still victims. Because I'm 30 now, but I'm still going through what happened to me at that very young age. So for me, I think it's high time that our government and the Parliament of Uganda come out, to talk about issues of legal abortion in Uganda. It's high time that women are given their right to health, their right to dignity, so that we can do abortion, let it be legalized in the country.
My name is Zenos Kanyisije. I'm a development activist. I think the law is actually clear. We should not say that the law on abortion is not clear. It is clear there are circumstances where you're allowed to actually abort. And, the law doesn't come out of the blue. We should first base on our social constructs as a nation and the cultural norms. So, our motto says, for God and my country.
And the Bible says abortion is a sin.
Yes. For example, in Exodus 20, chapter 20, verse 13, that you should not murder. And remember, at that moment where you conceive, believe me or not, you already have another person within you. We count two bodies. But also, we should also look at the resource constraints. When we do legalize abortion in Uganda, everyone will now be going to abort. We shall now need more health services, and our budget is not that conducive. So, Madam Speaker, I think the law is clear on abortion. We should not legalize abortion. But this one also includes the moral decay. When we legalize abortion, more people will opt for irresponsive sexual behavior, leading to more transmissions of these sexually transmitted diseases like gonorrhea and others. So I strongly say that abortion, the laws are clear. We should not tamper with them. We should not twist them anymore, and we should not legalize abortion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, young man. He's against legalization of abortion in Uganda simply because the country goes with the motto, for God and my country, and the Bible says abortion is a sin. But also another person is saying people are being raped, people are getting unwanted pregnancies. What can they do? Can they be a legal status to help them avoid these unwanted pregnancies?
My name's Honorable Kiomia McLean. I'm a woman, and a woman I will die. My concern is the penal code, which actually our Honorable Speaker cited. I believe that this penal code is not our own. We adopted it from another country. And I think it's time. We are Ugandan. We are Ugandan women. The people who are dying, the women, the young girls, which our health practitioners spoke from the practical experience. She sees these girls die. She actually works on this. She struggles with himself. He needs probably psychosocial support. So it's high time we really reform these laws. Get our own laws from the reality and the perspective of what is actually happening in Uganda.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and my fellow Honorable seated. What is the burden of an abortion? Because we don't want to approach some issues from just from air. As the first speaker, as the first Honorable presented, but we didn't get it very well for us to digest it, the magnitude of the problem we have as a country. Every day, 800 girls are victims of abortion. Actually, when we talk about abortion, we have two types of abortion. We have the induced abortion, and so we have induced, and now what are we talking about now? What is the law stipulating? What is the law target? Which kind of specific abortion are we talking about? And what is happening on the ground in reality? In Uganda, according to the statistics, survey 2016, 300,000 girls are conceiving before the age of 19 years. 300,000 girls every year are conceiving before the age of 19 years. So these are minors who haven't even reached consent, the age of consent in question, which everyone talks about. Now, what are we going to do about this? And who are the people who are prone to abortion? Most of them are school going. We have the SSWs, the commercial sex workers, our sisters, and these things are happening in our midst. And if are we having the law in the country restricting the abortion, and what is the practice? Every girl is aborting illegally, and they are dying because of complications associated to abortion. So having a legal position is not really helping currently, because according to statistics, in the presence of the legal position, 800 girls are aborting, and 80% of these are succumbing to complications associated to abortion. And 1,500 girls are dying every year because of unsafe abortions.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Member. As I told you, it is a very, very controversial topic. One say abortion is a sin. Others say it is inevitable. It is important because the girls who get pregnant before age. But there are those also who get pregnant when they want to get pregnant, when they want to have sex, but they don't want a pregnancy. They are willing givers and willing receivers. So what can we do? Let's go for a short break, and when we come back, we shall hear more from the people of Uganda. Yes, welcome back. You are still watching NTV People's Parliament, sitting here in Kampala discussing whether we should legalize abortion. And the question is the legal status of abortion in Uganda and why this should be everyone's concern.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Joanine Nanyange. Madam Speaker, I think the law in Uganda should be everyone's concern because, like my colleagues have said, the other honorable members of Parliament, we are losing our women and our girls because of the restrictive legal and policy environment that we have. Madam Speaker, like you rightly quoted the Constitution requires Parliament to make laws that give certain circumstances where a woman or a girl can access safe and legal abortion. This has not been done. So even our own constitution as Ugandans has said, you know what?
But when the mother is in danger.
That is not enough. The penal code only says that you're only allowed to do it through surgical means when a woman's life is in danger. But Madam Speaker, we have had a testimony of a girl who was raped by her relative at 14 years of age. Why would you force such a girl to have a baby that is going to keep reminding her of what happened? We need more exceptions to allow these women and girls to be able to access safe abortions.
But also, you know that the person who is being carried, the person who is inside your stomach is very innocent?
Yes, absolutely, it is
and
very
the person
innocent.
who is very innocent is the one that's going to suffer death?
But you see, Madam Speaker, we have two people to choose from. We either decide to protect this person that we don't know, or to protect the person that we already know. Here we are with a girl who is already going to school, who already has a promising future, but as a country we are deciding to protect this person inside, who is still a clot of blood, at 2 months, 1 month, or a few weeks. We are deciding to protect that. Instead of protect, she had to drop out of school because she could not access a safe and legal abortion. Madam Speaker, I think it is the duty of Parliament, and I think all of us should be concerned because the statistics have been read to you. Women and girls are dying. People are killing themselves because they are trying to abort. Madam Speaker, let me tell you, if a woman decides to have an abortion, even if you have how many laws stopping her to do so, she's going to go and have that abortion. So for me, I think it is better to make it safe for her. Instead of her going and pushing wires in her stomach and killing herself and killing her body, let us just make it safe for her. Because whether we like it or not, these abortions are happening. And the laws that we have right now, Human Rights Awareness and Promotion Forum did a research last year. The laws we have right are not even being implemented to stop abortions. They're only being used to get money from people. Police come and arrest you and they tell you, if you don't want us to destroy your reputation, give us money. The research is out, the statistics are there. So what is the use of the law? It is doing nothing because it is not being implemented. Instead, it is making health workers fail to give legal and safe abortions to people. It is forcing people to have unsafe abortions and killing themselves and killing their health, yet it is not even being implemented. So the law right now is useless. And what it is doing is killing our girls and our women. We need the law changed. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, I think, honorable members of Parliament, you are listening to people speaking about legalizing abortion in Uganda. For me, I am a Christian. I should declare that I do not. But anyway.
I'm Honorable Joya Sasira. I come from the Women's Reproductive Rights constituency. I want to throw a spanner in the works because I think as honorable members, we represent different people and different views. And legalization of abortion could be one way to approach it. But I want to also tickle you as members of Parliament to consider the law that we already have in place. As the former speaker has stated, the law prohibits abortion and only gives leeway for it to be performed where the law supports it. So in essence, it does not actually say you cannot have an abortion. It just says that there needs to be a law. So honorable members, my question to you.
It should be clear because not everybody who will get a pregnancy should go and abort. Yeah.
And what we are saying is that this is not there. And this status quo where a law that regulates all the various important aspects of access to safe and legal abortion needs to be put in place, because what is happening now is that as the policemen come and grab women and girls who have had abortions, the quacks are thriving because the law is not known or whatever is there is misinterpreted. So these young girls who should be seeking services from safe avenues in hospitals, from people who are qualified, end up in the hands of the quacks because the law is not in place and is not, whatever is there is not clear. Secondly, I want to propose that our law, the Constitution of Uganda, has very many provisions that speak towards women being able to access safe abortion anyway. We know that under our Constitution, there are women's rights. And these women's rights include their reproductive rights. We know that under our Constitution, it talks about dignity for women. And this dignity includes giving a solution to women who have been victims of sexual violence, like rape, incest, and defilement, as we've seen today. And they should be able to access abortion services. So, my proposal to this parliament is that, as we talk about legalization, can we also first understand the actual status of the law and implement it and operationalize it? What has come out clearly today, my fellow honorable members, is that the position of the law is not working, or the status of the law currently is not working. That if a woman needs an abortion, she's going to go and have it anyway, regardless of what the law says. And may I also point out, honorable members, that this abortion we are talking about, unsafe abortion, is a class issue. You and I, as honorable members, will not suffer from an unsafe abortion because we can afford. So the current law also has an implication of making unsafe abortion a problem of the low social class, low economic class women, women who cannot afford, and especially our young girls. So as honorable members, my proposal is that our discussion should not just be about legalization, because it is not a silver bullet. That even when we operationalize, we need to put in place the facilities for access for the services. But can we also consider what we already have in place and leverage on this to ensure that women and girls can receive this service when they need it?
Thank you. Just as she has said that though abortion in Uganda is a crime, but it still goes on in the villages, even in hospitals. Dr. Chibundu, please, don't girls come to you seeking for abortion. Just give us an experience. As a doctor, a gynecologist, do you get girls, young girls, even women as big as me coming for abortion?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable members, I have many experiences with abortions. It spans coming to about 20 years now of my practice. I will just recount maybe only 2 cases for you quickly. I saw this young 16-year-old girl come to my office and says, "Doctor, I have a pregnancy that I don't want to carry to term because it came at the wrong time from the wrong person." And I sat with her and preached to her, religiously preached to her, that it is wrong for her to end up pregnancy, that she can actually have, she can continue with this pregnancy and she will get our support as health workers. After about 60 minutes of our talk, she said, "Doctor, you have been very kind to me, you have talked very well, but you have not helped me." So she left my office and went. 3 days later, I'm called for an emergency. I was on duty, so they call me. And I go and go to the emergency ward, and what do I find? I find this 16-year-old girl, the one I had seen 3 days previously. She was in shock. She was literally fighting for her life. We had to do a lot of things we did. We gave her blood, we gave her antibiotics, gave her fluids. We took her to theater. 6 hours later, we were able to get her out of theater. But she had lost her uterus. She had also lost part of her intestines. She's walking around. I see her sometimes in Kampala. And I wonder what type of life she is living. She's a survivor, but what type of survivor is that? And I still remember, if I by that time I was empowered to give her a self-termination, she would be a much happier woman. These are the circumstances under which we go.
Okay.
That's part of the story. The other
Thank
story
you.
is later.
Thank you for that experience. Let's welcome honorable members.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm Honorable Susan Baluka from the constituency of Human Rights Awareness and Promotion Forum. Research that has been conducted by the Guttmacher Institute in conjunction with the World Health Organization, that actually in countries where abortion is criminalized, the incidence of abortions that are carried out is higher. They protracted statistics that show 37 abortions per 1,000 women in countries where abortion is criminalized, as opposed to 34 per 1,000 women in countries where it is not criminalized. And you're rest assured that those 37 abortions per 1,000 women in the countries where it's criminalized are unsafe. While the ones where the 34 per 1,000 women where it's not criminalized are definitely safe, because the environment encourages access to safe abortion services. So, as members of parliament, I urge you to not rely so much on issues of religious and moral convictions, because as Article 7 of our Constitution stipulates, Uganda shall not adopt a state religion. So let us not get
let our moral and religious convictions get in the way of saving the lives of women and girls.
So you want us to abandon the commandments of God?
No, we should not abandon the commandments of God. I myself am a Catholic, an ardent Catholic, but I do not believe that my personal religious and moral convictions
I wish you
should
pray
get in the way.
Thank you. Thank you. Please. Let me hope your prince is listening to you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable James Zere, and I'm from the constituents of the Center for Health, Marriage and Development. Honorable Speaker, mine is information. We have been speaking about the law in Uganda, the law on abortion, but where does this law come from? Whose law is it? Who made this law? Is it our law really? Honorable Speaker, this law is not ours. This law came into Uganda in 1902. That's when it came.
But all the laws were introduced by the colonials and we still operate under them. We only amend and, add.
Honorable Speaker, the people who made this law have moved on from it. They have abandoned it. But for us, we are still holding on. It's England. You see, in 1861, then the United Kingdom made a law on abortion for themselves. But they went through development up to 1967, after they gave us independence. Then they said, the law that we have right now is not good enough for the kind of dignity which women deserve, for the kind of circumstances which exist in the society.
You think it is a dignity to abort?
It's not, as previous speakers have spoken, it's not dignity to abort, but the circumstances which lead to the decision which we need to deal with.
Okay.
And just further on the law, you see, when our constitution was being made, the Constituent Assembly sat and decided that the law also is not good enough. That's why in the Constitution they say that nobody is authorized to terminate the life of an unborn child except as authorized by law. Now by saying authorized by law, they told Parliament to go and make a law. But up to now we are still discussing whether we should make a law or not, when the Constitution is clear. Honorable Speaker, further information. I am aware that the Center for Health, Marriage and Development has filed a petition against the government, and they have asked the government, the court, to direct the Parliament to make a law. And if that petition is successful, the Parliament will be compelled to make a law.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm Honorable Titan Knowles. I come from Landmark Youth Foundation.
From where?
Landmark Youth Foundation, Uganda.
Yes.
My concern is, some time back, when someone raised a point of giving family planning and condoms to children, those who are going to school, people raised an alarm, but they don't want to legalize abortion. My issue is, we should pick one of the two, either good or bad one. Let's leave people enjoy themselves and we legalize abortion. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
You want to add something to his remarks? I can see you have a burning point inside you. Please, come. I have a pastor in the house.
Okay, thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable members, I again strongly defend my stand. I believe this idea of legalizing abortion, it is just a sugar-coated bullet that is going to take most of our lives in danger. First of all, legalizing abortion will actually reduce the adoption of contraceptives. And you know what this one means. This one will actually lead to more HIV prevalence rate. And yet we had, as currently we have now reached the extent of at least reducing it.
Can't you clap for him?
Another thing we should put in mind, we should also know that safe abortion is not actually safe. I'm going to quote a one Sukahara in 2014. It postulates that 40% of the abortion operating errors lead to abortion complications. So how sure are you that if you legalize abortion, there will be no abortion errors and people won't die during abortion? So we should also put that one in mind. We should also clearly know and understand the root cause of unintended pregnancies. We should not focus all our resources on the implications of the law on women and girls, but what causes these unwanted pregnancies. We should actually derive all our focus to the cause, the root cause of unintended pregnancies. That's when we shall come to the clear understanding of the current laws on abortion and actually propose that they are actually clear, but not as you postulate. Jeremiah 1:5, that God knew us before you were born. So this actual, He knew you before you were born. So you're now considering that source constraints or what? This world is a world of materialistic struggle. Everyone struggles to achieve the space. So you should actually produce, and I think, yes, that's all. Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor. He's one person who is very contrary to the hundreds of you who are here. Let's go for a short break, and when we come back, we shall hear more from the people of Uganda about the legal status of abortion in Uganda and why this should be everyone is concerned. Welcome back. You are still watching NTV People's Parliament, sitting here in Kampala, discussing the legal status of abortion in Uganda. As I earlier told you, it's a very controversial topic among the members of Parliament themselves, the religious leaders, and the cultural leaders, and those very, very cultural people in Uganda who are against abortion. But another section says it is inevitable that we legalize abortion in Uganda. Yes, Honorable Member, you have the podium.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members present. My name is Susan from Atura, from the constituency of Action Group for Health, Human Rights and HIV/AIDS. I would like to challenge our religious leaders and other moralists to come up and tell us the impact they've so far created from the noise they have made on abortion. Against, for years, they preached against abortion, but then our children continue to abort before their eyes, and at times, it's them getting them pregnant and fund
but we shouldn't just get tired. As we have preached against prostitution, we have preached against corruption, it's still exists, but we should continue preaching.
Then, Honorable Speaker, I consider that as hypocrisy before God. Because if you think it is wrong, then why go in for these young girls? Our girls are continuing to die before these religious leaders, yet it is them getting them pregnant. Honorable Amos said Uganda has no money to fund abortion. Yes, there are some circumstances where the government of Uganda has said a woman or a girl can access abortion. Yes, but the question is, to what extent has our government of Uganda gone in to fund the legal circumstances under which a woman should access abortion? When you go to our health center 4s, our health center 3s, our health workers themselves are not even trained on how to handle these cases. They lack equipment, they lack drugs, and they end up dying on the hands of these mothers, in the hands of the health workers, because they don't have resources to extend those legal services in case of abortion. Uganda is a signatory to the Maputo Plan to Action on Sexual and Reproductive Health Rights, so it should fulfill their commitment that they made under the Maputo Declaration.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm Honorable Akatkunda Barbara.
These girls in villages, they go through a lot. Some are raped. They get the back. In the future, they keep on having that flashback. So I'm supporting if the law is legalized.
Please, you have the podium.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm Adrian Juko from Human Rights Awareness and Promotion Forum. I just want to make 2 points about abortion. The first point is about clarity. What do we mean by abortion? Okay? So the issue of what is abortion. Abortion is not simply the expelling of the fetus at any stage. an abortion occurs when you terminate a pregnancy before viability. This means before the fetus is able to live outside the mother's womb. Okay? This is about, I think, doctor, it's about 28 weeks in Uganda. That's about less than 7 months. So it's not at 9 months. When it's in 9 months, that's actually murder. It's not an abortion. 8 months is actually murder, not an abortion. So what has to be clear, we're not advocating for the expelling of fetuses
When
at
an
any...
egg is fertilized, it becomes live being.
And that's the point I want to ask. If it cannot live outside the mother's womb, then it cannot be live. And that takes me to the Bible. The one I even talked about the Bible.
Dr. Come and give us facts. Wait, let me get the doctor. Dr. Come.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. Yes.
When does this baby begin to have life?
The baby begins to have life after 120 days.
120 days. Those are how many months for a man?
It's about 4 months or something like that.
At what age does it begin to feed?
All cells feed. All cells feed. To stay. I mean, even as gametes, they still all feed.
Okay.
And but feeding is not really life.
Okay. Thank you. So at 4 months, we already have a baby living.
And we're talking about termination of pregnancy before viability. That is, if this fetus comes to be a child, then should be able to live on its own, right? When it's actually out of the womb. If it can't, then it's part of a woman's body. So that woman can make decisions about her own body.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, the House. I'm called Dr. Tuhirire. Everything we are talking about simply comes back to choice. Yes? We choose to become religious. We choose to become Christian. We choose to become Muslim. We choose to have a child. We choose not to have a child. We choose to use contraception. All we are asking is that the government gives us the ability that when I choose not to have this child, it is safe.
Can't you
because it is
have a
a
child by not having?
Yes. If I choose to do so, then I'm supported to choose not to have sex. You know? No one should force me to have sex. But if I have had sex, if I've been raped, if I'm not ready, I mean, we see even women who are old.
Just a moment. Honorable Member, are you aware that the majority of people going for abortion really go for sex willingly?
Yes, but they do not choose to get pregnant. You see? They go to have sex, not to get pregnant. So if I have not chosen to be pregnant, and I'm not ready to keep this pregnancy, all we are asking is that the government should protect me.
Okay.
Yes, with my choice.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have 1 minute, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. It's really not good to legalize what? Abortion. Because it is always intended. Sometimes even people always have your desire to have sex. It's all about your mission. Sometimes even people who are both, they are always willing.
You want the law to allow only cases of rape?
Yeah, the cases of rape.
Thank you. So, the Honorable Member is supporting legalization of abortion only in the cases of rape. But when you are going willing giver, willing receiver, he says no.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable members. Yes, and what are we saying in all this discussion, Honorable Speaker? We are saying one of the things that we want the law to be clear. Parliament should do its work of ensuring that the law is very clear. Let them define parameters. Sir, I think the pastor raised an issue of girls will start having abortions. And we don't want, it's not that women who actually rampage start having abortions day in, day out. Let women who have those conditions that necessitate them to have abortions have access to services. Let them, let's have a way of ensuring that women who need abortions get them. Also calling up upon our government to ensure that actually women and girls and the country understand these things. Let there be awareness raising on what the law provides for and what doesn't provide for. Because girls who are in conditions that actually would have allowed them to have safe abortions don't even go for services because they don't know what the law actually provides for. There are things that health workers also some of them don't provide services, even for post-abortion care, because some of them still think that even providing post-abortion care is actually illegal. So there should be information given to people. And also police officers. There are some cases we've handled where police officers have arrested girls who have had unsafe abortions. Even before taking them to have emergency care, they're taken to police stations or to police cells without even giving them treatment. And what are we saying? That police should also be sensitized to understand these conditions. Okay, a woman has, the law says abortion is legal, but before you front the issue of putting me in cells,
Save life first.
Save life first. Also health workers who have provided, who have tried to save life. Let us not stigmatize them. Let us not try to actually arrest them because of our own benefit, because we've seen cases where health workers have been arrested because there is an issue of extortion. The police wants to get money, the family wants to get money, and at the end of the day, the girl is not considered. She's put aside, and the police, and they settle the things out, and money is exchanged. But we are saying, and in all this discussion, let's put the woman at the front.
Okay.
Let's understand what a woman is.
Okay. I give you 1 minute to answer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable members, I believe equality should begin from the womb. And about choices, it's not that everyone's choice must be put into manifestation. Now, for example, what if you make your own choice to maybe cause a harm to the society? Would it be manifested? So we should check sometimes our choices. Sometimes it's not, we should not think so democratical, that there's where dictatorship is revered. And I would like to pose a question. I would like to pose a question, all of you honorable members. Now suppose your mothers had made a choice to abort. Now look at the pressure you're living in, look at what you're doing. How would you actually feel? How do you actually feel?
Okay, thank you, Pastor. Thank you. Thank you, honorable members, for being part of this very important parliament discussing the legalization of abortion in Uganda. There are those who are for and there are those who are against. Members of parliament, I think you have heard the call from Ugandans on how you should make a provision to legalize abortion in Uganda. Thank you so much for watching NTV People's Parliament. I am your speaker, Agnes Nandutu. And I aspire to inspire you before I expire. With powers conferred upon me as the Speaker of People's Parliament, I adjourn this House until next Saturday.
The views expressed on this show do not represent those of NTV or its staff.